All right, everybody. Welcome in to Midwest Mike's. Another show, another week. I'm Gary.
This is Austin.
And we are ready to bring the news. We are recording Tuesday, October 30th. The NFL trade deadline was today. We'll get to some of that here in a few minutes. But we'll start off the show kind of like we do every week with a little recap of some of the high school teams in our area that we follow. I mean, the one I help coach, and Coach Harris and Coach DJ and a couple other guys around that we know. So we'll just jump right into that. Shawnee Mission East, we did beat Harmon in the first week of the playoffs, as expected. I mean, they were a team that was not very good, that, we pretty much were expected to handle, and we did. Handled our business. And then Coach Harris and his team won their first round playoff matchup, and they play Harrisonville this week in a pretty big game in the district. Semifinal.
That'll be tough.
Yeah, they play them, and then Coach DJ and his crew out that way, they play Fort Osage, which William Chrisman has not beat Fort Osage in a long time. For some reason, they just seem to struggle with those guys, so it'll be interesting. Shawnee Mission East, we play Olathe East, who probably had the biggest upset, I would say, in 6A Kansas last week, upsetting Blue Valley in round one of the playoffs. I mean, I don't know how far you'd have to go back to find a Blue Valley team that lost in the first round. But, they did. So we did take care of our business, and Olathe East took care of theirs, and we play them Friday night at Shawnee Mission North Stadium in a second-round matchup, which will be a big game, and it'll be a nice test for us here in the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, and it looks like, I was looking through some of the other scores, it looks like Gardner took care of business on their side, too.
They did.
They beat up on Blue Valley Northwest. So, that's 55-27. Hey,
yeah.
They're scoring a lot of points. So, yeah.
Which Blue Valley Northwest not very good. I mean, they were the 1 seed. They got a 16, so.
Yeah. So they were worse than Harmon or whatever.
They had a lower seed than Harmon, yeah.
All right. Well,
Blue Valley North won, Graham Mertz.
Oh, look at that. St. Thomas Aquinas, see that score?
Yeah.
Holy smokes, 69-14.
Oh, yeah. And they got another game. They should smoke them this week also.
They probably end up winning 5A.
I think so.
Who'd be challenging them in 5A?
I mean, Mill Valley has been tough in recent years, but I think Mill Valley is kind of down this year. I'm not really familiar with the western half of the bracket on 5A, so I mean, I don't know who would be good out there. But in the Kansas City area, I really feel like they have a good chance to win that, get to state, and probably win state too.
Yeah,
I can't think of anybody off the top of my head in 5A that.
Yeah, I'm trying to use the.
Is that the 8-10 varsity Super 25?
No, I'm trying to find the bracket out here at playoffs.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to find the actual bracket or whatever.
I think DeSoto is actually supposed to be good in 5A.
They're pretty good.
But I haven't seen any of those teams, or I'm not very familiar. So
what's going on with? Do we know what's going on with Grandview?
Grandview won last weekend. They upset Grain Valley, which was actually the favorite to win that district.
Really?
Yeah, that's the same district that Coach Harris and Van Horn are in. So if Coach Harris wins this week against Harrisonville, they would play the winner of, I think it's Grandview Warrensburg.
Oh, okay.
For the district championship. So that's a big deal. And also, I tweeted it out on the Twitter, but Coach Harris and Van Horn, that was their first playoff win in school history. So that's a big deal.
Yeah, that's cool.
For them and that program. And I mean, I tweeted it out. Anybody who listened to our show with him, that where he was on a full show, or the show where we talked to him just for a few minutes, had no doubt that he was going to be successful out there, and he had done some good things and
Yeah.
put good things in place over the last couple of years. And I mean, his kids are playing well, and it's really showing right now. And this is the time, where you got to be playing your best football.
For sure.
So, I mean, I hope they get a couple more playoff wins this year and get an opportunity to make a run.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I'm just going through some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Class 8, man. No, 8
Yeah,
man.
we don't know about any 8-man stuff. We don't even know about any of that.
Yeah, all right. Let's see. And then 4A, Miege will run 4A.
Miege will run 4A.
Looks like they won their first game by about 50.
Yeah. I mean, they scored like 76 points. They'll run through 4A. Pittsburgh, they play Pittsburgh this week at Pittsburgh, which will be, I believe, their toughest game in the playoffs.
They'll still win.
I think they'll win, yeah, but it'll be, I think, their toughest game in the playoffs. Pittsburgh is a pretty good 4A team also.
So Gardner Edgerton gets Shawnee Mission Northwest.
Yep, Gardner Edgerton will play Shawnee Mission Northwest.
Blue Valley North gets Shawnee Mission South.
Yeah, which I would think that, unfortunately, as much as I would love to say one of those Shawnee Mission schools can pull an upset, I just don't see it happening.
Olathe North versus Olathe South. That's good.
I mean, I would think that Olathe North wins that one.
Yeah, so the only surprise is the one you guys are playing.
Yeah, the only surprise really in 6A was that in on our side of the bracket was that first game.
Yeah, I don't see any.
I mean, Derby won big.
Yeah, I don't. There's no upsets on the other side.
Yeah,
none.
Lawrence Free State won big.
Yeah, Free State won by freaking 43, and then Derby won by 34.
Yeah,
So
I mean, and I would think that on that side of the bracket, it's going to come down to a Free State Derby matchup.
I would
in
think.
the
So. I would
semifinals.
think so.
And I've seen Free State. I have not seen Derby. So I mean, I've talked to some people who have seen them. One coach told me that's the best high school team he's seen in 4 years.
Derby.
So
Hey, a coach that you respect.
yeah, a coach I respect.
Another thing is, what's funny? How could Free State be so good and then Lawrence is not? Lawrence Free State's really, really good. Lawrence is not. They have the same pool of kids, right?
Well, it depends on your lines, and I mean, I don't know if Lawrence has the open enrollment where they can choose which high school they go to or not. But I think in Lawrence was, they just got a new coach. They'll be better, I would anticipate, in year 2 under Coach Rampy than they were in year 1.
Yeah, they got beat down.
Yeah.
16 seed there.
Yeah. So
No bueno.
all right, well, so good luck to, all of our coaching friends that are coaching still. As it does, the calendar's going to roll over to November here in a couple days. Like I said, this is the 30th of October. It's always fun to get the coach into November because that means you're doing something right. And, hopefully I'm coaching all the way up through Thanksgiving. That mean we'd made it to a state championship. So.
I hope so. I think it's going to happen for you guys. So.
Pretty excited about that. And our kids are playing well right now. I look for PJ Spencer, our all-state, returning all-state defensive end from last year. Obviously, nothing's been announced this year, but I look for him to have a big night on Friday.
Yeah.
Against this Olathe East team. But, all right. So, it was a pretty fun weekend, last weekend in college football. Did you get to watch any games?
Yeah, I watched Missouri, and I wish I didn't.
Yeah, Missouri, that was crazy, getting beat by Kentucky last minute.
Yeah, it's coaching's pretty bad on that side. Sorry, it is. They should have been running down a clock, and instead they threw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And when they asked him about it, he says, "Well, if we would have ran the ball, then Kentucky would have just used the timeout." And it's like, dude, okay, they would have used the timeout. By using that timeout, they potentially don't get down on that goal line.
Yeah,
because they don't have enough time to get down there. So what the heck are you talking about? Like that kind of stuff. You're just like, dude, like you don't even. But
Derek Dooley, who is the offensive coordinator over there, came from the Cowboys, which, I mean, that really doesn't have anything to do with what I'm going to say, but another coach I was talking to who's a big Missouri fan was saying that, he felt like it was the end of an NFL game because you can take some chances and throw it a little bit, and then you have a punter who's going to come pin them super deep, or a kicker who's going to pin them super deep, versus a college kid who, that's not his full-time job.
Oh, so you're saying maybe throwing the ball was the correct move?
No. Was the wrong thing to do. Like, something you can do in the NFL, but you can't do it in college because you don't have as good of a
player
on
I got
special teams.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
So he was saying he felt like that 3-minute drill was kind of more NFL-based than college-based.
It's weird.
You've
The
got to
whole thing
realize
was
where
weird.
you are.
And, I don't know, it was weird. And actually, I don't know. The whole thing is bad. And then to give it up, lose right at the end like that. Props to Kentucky for hanging around in that game.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. I think unless Missouri, I don't know. They somehow end up winning 8 games. No, where are they at? Where are they at right now? They're 4-4. No, 4-4. Whatever. If they end up winning 8 games, then maybe he'll save his job. But it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. I mean, I saw a tweet actually because KU won. They upset TCU.
Yeah.
I saw a tweet somebody saying who's going to last longer, Barry Odom or what's the KU coach?
I think they're both gone.
What's the KU coach?
David
Beatty, yeah.
I think they're both gone.
Yeah, they were saying who would last. And at the beginning of the season going into it, I mean, I think that would have been a crazy statement. But now here, looking at what both teams have done,
Yeah.
I mean, who knows how it's going to end up.
He just done. I just think Beatty. When you talk about Beatty, Kansas, I think he's done a bad job with recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of firsthand witness to that kind of stuff.
You don't get the best kids in your state.
You don't lock down your own state. You don't lock down your own state and take the kids that are really good that aren't going to go to Florida or Ohio State or all those guys. Then you get everybody else.
Yeah.
And they had a few good quarterbacks that have come through there.
Yeah.
And they went on to other places and played really well. Like Kozar.
Yeah, and the kid that actually beat him early in the season when they played a MAC team. Forgot who it was. That kid.
He played at Kansas.
He was a Kansas kid. They didn't offer him. He went out there and he comes back and beats him.
So I think I'm with you on it. I think the way for Kansas because K-State's going to lock down. K-State's going to recruit in Kansas. I think they
do a lot of JUCO stuff.
They do a lot of JUCO stuff. But Kansas needs to, the way their program is right now, they just need to lock down every kid in Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, you start going to Missouri, and then just spread it out.
Yeah.
And just become a fun place to play football.
Exactly.
And win
and that's the way you're gonna turn this thing around.
win 6. I mean, you're Kansas. You can have an Orange Bowl season, but you need to win 6 to 8 games a year, and you're good.
Yep.
You're good. You're not a powerhouse. 6 to 8 games, and you're great. Yeah. That's it. So, anyways, I got to see some of the other games, but what was your biggest takeaway from this weekend?
Well, I mean, I watched the Iowa game. They lost the heartbreaker 2 to Penn State. Nate Stanley threw a pick late on the goal line. Uncharacteristic for Iowa to look flushed in that situation or frustrated or kind of not know what was going on, it seemed like. But late pick in the game kind of cost them against a really good Penn State team. But yeah, probably my biggest takeaway of the weekend, was just, I watch Iowa a lot, and I feel like for some reason in those big games and those big moments, they just always come up short against Penn State. It's happened the last couple of years. And, I mean, Iowa could have won the Big Ten West, had they won. Yeah. Especially Wisconsin had lost earlier in the day and just couldn't get it done. So, but that is what it is. First college football playoff rankings came out tonight. And I would say, no surprise, Alabama is at 1. Number 2 was Clemson. 3, LSU. And 4, Notre Dame.